Hey, welcome to another episode of Coffee and Bong Hits with Jessie. I am Jessie, and it's been a slow, laborious morning, but we got it cranking. Yo, you know how we do. Let's start the show with some Rajim, the Block Bishop. Yo, I ain't sorry either.
Damn it. King, do that shit again. Do that shit again. Do that shit again.
I don't got a shoot, I got shooters. I know I'm cooler than the cooler. I know this way you keep your alcohol. I know that I'm out the bar. All of my niggas is savages. Meet up the opponents with scavengers. I know that them fly, I got passengers. I love Jesus Christ and Bible passages. My girl so fly, she have a Merlin. She love the majesty like Merlin. And the balls like a Laker, Irvin. Should've kept it clean like this detergent. Wash the shit out and let the cat up out the bag. I can nick it and let the dick out the sack. Let it breathe, get some air. Baby, please, I'm already there. Decadent creamery everywhere. I represent me, it's a love affair. Smelling the trees, it's a buzzing here. Carry down with the team if you want prepared. Hey, this is my style. I do it to get some attention. Hey, the crowd going wild, so I guess I'ma keep on spitting. Nigga, I bow with your style, but you won't get no honorable mention. I'm rocking it better than you. I'm making retire no pension. I just get the bread at the food. Apply sandwich bread and make it smooth. My movement gon' move, that's the move. The only option not to lose. Hey, never been scared, you ain't prepared. I ain't sorry. Your breezy clearly walked the ass over here. I ain't sorry. Mad cause you think I ran out with your bit. I ain't sorry. You tripping cause you think I stole your career. I ain't sorry. Hey, you ain't feeling me, no apologies. I ain't sorry. Hey, sorry not sorry. Hey, I ain't sorry.
I don't even feel that bad.
I ain't sorry. Give no fucks about your
ass.
I ain't sorry.
You got shoes, shoes. I keep popping like a tool. Yo, welcome to another episode of Coffee and Bong Hits with Jessie Sparnberg. Here is my coffee. Here is my bong hit. We had a little bit of technical difficulties this morning, but we're going to work it out. I guarantee ADM is in first this morning. Yo, today we're going to have an interview. With my man, Greg McKelvey. Greg is one of the biggest champions for social justice that I know. Great guy, good friend. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Erica. Good morning. That's Erica again. Erica says good morning to ADM. The ADM says good morning to y'all. Then Sarah says good morning to fam. And everybody's just super happy today. Okay, so check this out. If you need to, you could watch this show on YouTube, or you could watch this on our website. You know, we're always trying to push the website. The home of the best silhouette logo in the business. That's right. It is Urban Survivor, man. Ask the Kemba Mutombo. Hey, the Kemba Mutombo. Does anybody have a better logo than we do? Guess what the Kemba Mutombo will say? He's saying, no. Ain't nobody got the better logo than us. That's urbansurvivorman.com. So you can go there. We got the greatest logo ever. You guys are losers. Our logo is the best. Oh, look, this is an opportunity for people on TV. So I'm trying to level my phone so you can see my thing. But look, not only do I got my dirty black reflective sticker, but I got my MyG 5G protector. You guys don't got that? That's let me take this picture of the president off. We got the MyG 5G protector, loser.
Because 5G causes the coronavirus. Don't you know anything?
Okay, so I just do want you to see this though. Reach out to MyG and get your MyG 5G protector cover because I don't know, you don't want to get the coronavirus, I guess. So I got some stories to tell you guys here in a minute, but I don't want to waste any time just in case the comment comes. I want to get my guests on as soon as I can. My next guest today, like I started to say, is one of the biggest champions for social justice I know. He's currently raising a gigantic family that appears to keep growing, but he's taken some recent positions with some local firms, and it's really important that we bring him on to talk about it, especially today. We're going to be talking about the unconstitutionality of non-unanimous juries. So there are still people in Oregon who have been convicted by a non-unanimous jury, and that's been deemed unconstitutional. And so let's bring him on. Let's quit talking about it and be about it. What's up, player?
What up? How's it going?
Man, just trying. You know, how's the family?
Everybody's good. We finally got our power back this weekend, which was great. We were out for like 5 days, and daycare is back open. So yeah, we're golden.
Man, you know what they say? Everybody wants to fight the power until the power goes out. Then they're like, sorry, power. We love you, actually. Speaking of fight the power, so we all know that the criminal justice industry is corrupted. I don't think that there's anybody that could argue about the disproportional incarceration rates and the disproportional sentencing rates that people of different ethnicities and nationalities are treated at. But it's more specific than that. It's not actually qualifiable. It's actually quantifiable. And there's numbers to it. And there's jury decisions. And there's a constitution that protects us. How do you get involved in this, Greg, besides it just being right in line with all your values? How is this what you're working on right now? Catch me up.
Yep, sure. So the issue that we have here, and I think some people have heard of the problem of non-unanimous juries, but maybe thought that it was settled or something like that. But there were only 2 states in the entire United States that had non-unanimous juries. And what that means is, you know, all of us have seen some sort of jury movie. It's something like that, where, you know, they all get together and everybody has to vote to convict, right? But in 1934, there was basically a Jewish person who was let off, and the Oregonian was writing editorials about it, and basically everybody was very upset because they thought Jewish people, Catholics, and other minorities don't understand the Protestant criminal justice system and how it's supposed to work in the juries, and we cannot allow them being on the jury to get people off. So Oregon passed a law that was basically lobbied for by the KKK in Oregon, which was very strong in the 1930s, that allowed for people to be convicted with a 10-2 vote. So up to 2 jurors or one could dissent and say, no, I don't believe this person is guilty, and the person still be convicted. So what that means in a place like Oregon, where we are not, you know, where Black people don't make up a huge proportion of the jury pool, but do make up a huge proportion of the people who are charged with crimes, is if there are 2 Black people on the jury, which, you know, you'd be lucky to get 2 Black people on your jury in Oregon. But if there are 2 Black people on your jury in Oregon, then those 2 Black people's votes to not convict you would basically not count. And so it obviously disproportionately impacts Black people and other marginalized groups. It's supposed to be hard to put people away. and in no other state. Louisiana got rid of it before we did on their own. So it goes to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, even Justice Kavanaugh, Justice Gorsuch, they all say, this is racist. What the hell is Oregon doing? Of course, juries have to be unanimous. So we had to stop. But the problem is there's still a bunch of people that were convicted with these non-unanimous jury convictions that are still in jail. Even though those convictions are admittedly racist, those convictions are admittedly unconstitutional, we can't do it anymore, but they're still sitting in jail for them. And so what we're trying to do is get those people new trials.
Who does that fall on? Is that on the Attorney General?
Yeah, so
I don't even know who the Attorney General is.
Ellen Rosenblum. So and what is interesting here is, one, she might be running for governor eventually pretty soon here, so she's not going to want this stain. What is also interesting is she was a judge who was convicting people for that were convicted with non-unanimous juries and rejecting the argument previously, but she has admitted that non-unanimous juries are racist, but her opinion is that we cannot give these people new trials because that would be too much work for the district attorneys. And then, of course, our opinion is, look, if they were convicted using racism, and you think you have the evidence, convict them without a Jim Crow jury.
Man, I have so many questions. Okay, first of all, how many people are we talking about?
Yeah, and here's one of the problems is that people didn't start pulling their juries for a while because no one knew this was going to be a constitutional problem. So since the 30s, it's definitely in the thousands, of course. But what we're talking about being in jail right now, we're talking about hundreds, probably less than 300 people still in jail.
That's a lot of people, man.
It's a lot of human lives, yeah. But it's not opening the floodgates, right? Which is what some people's argument would be, like that you're just going to open the jail. So like we're talking about 300 people. We're not even saying that they necessarily, like maybe they should be free, but that's not necessarily the thing. The district attorney could retry these cases if they have evidence. We're just asking to vacate racist convictions. And if you think you have the evidence as a district attorney, you can retry them. And honestly, just like with most crimes, what will happen is most of these people will probably plea out, right? So the DA will say, look, we got you on the with a non-unanimous jury. We think we can get you with a unanimous for 10 years. Take this plea deal for the 2, And so we're talking about a few hundred people that are in jail right now. 1,000 or so that are outside of jail but still living with the stigma of their conviction, obviously, which impacts their housing and everything. And it's not automatic. We're not asking for all of these things to automatically be vacated. We're asking for, when people apply for their conviction to be vacated because of an unconstitutional way of being convicted, that the Attorney General not fight those applications.
Okay, you sent me a video this morning. Mm-hmm. Should we just play that right now? And then maybe
I would love
some of my questions will be answered in the video. I hate doing that.
I would love to.
Okay. Well, let's me and you slide over to the side of the screen. And let me see if I can blow this screen up so we don't see my whole laptop like that. I thought we could. Click that. Click this. All right, I'm gonna mute myself and just let this play. This is, you want to set this up real quick? Who's this from?
This is from my work, Zealous. Put this together with the production company, but you get the whole scoop from the story. So we're good.
Okay, I'm out of the way. This is Coffee and Bong Hits with Greg McKelvey. If you're listening to this in a podcast form on one of your podcast devices like iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Pandora, I don't know. Go leave us a 5-star review and just say, Jessie, thank you for having such great guests or some crap like that. Okay. Yeah, let me get out the way.
The United States Supreme Court said convicting a person by a non-unanimous jury verdict is unconstitutional. That law was introduced for the sole purpose of preserving white supremacy. I felt happy for my friends and the people that I left in prison. The reason why they're in prison for all those years, our United States Supreme Court has said it was wrong. The state of Oregon has the power to send a message that we would never uphold laws intended to preserve white supremacy. I get emotional when I think about them, because they're still in prison. Angola, when I was one, they booked me for shooting that gun. When we was kids, our nursery rhyme with, we was gonna commit a crime that was gonna send us to Angola, and it rhymed with our age. I didn't give that much thought about the nursery rhymes until I got to Angola. And then I realized that there was a system that was gonna make that song our reality. I always wanted to get out the environment that I grew up in. So I signed up for Job Corps, and I wound up here in Oregon. And living in that environment with the trees and the trails, it was like a fairy tale. That's when I actually felt free. But then 2 detectives arrested me based upon a warrant issued by the New Orleans authorities accusing me of having committed a murder. I was placed on a unit in the Orleans Parish prison where guys had already been sentenced to death. Some had 99-year sentences, some had life for petty drugs. When I would tell them about my case, that I was innocent, I didn't commit it, and all of them generally told me the same thing, that I was going to be executed. I started asking, well, how could I help myself? And that's when they told me, well, you got to learn the law. I started reading everything that I could get my hands on. I would always look in the newspaper, and if an influential person was arrested, I would cut those articles out and start creating my own law book. And in the process, I just fell in love with law. I fell in love with the power that it gives. And then I started trying to help other people as well. Once I got to Angola, then I applied for the job of being a jailhouse lawyer. And in researching a lot of the innocent cases, I noticed that their verdict was non-unanimous. Every state in the United States, you have to be convicted by unanimous jury except Louisiana and Oregon. Klansmen introduced laws to make sure that the system could convict anybody they wanted. And if it's a minority on that jury, then that minority of juror vote would not count. Had we had a system like everybody else, those people would not have been convicted because you had to have all of the jurors to agree. Once I got released, I knew that I wanted to continue to help the people in prison. So I got employed as a paralegal. So then I went to one of the lawyers that works at the firm where I work at. His name is Ben Coleman. And I said, man, we got to do something about this. And Ben's response was, well, Calvin, if you find the cases, we'll litigate them all the way to the United States Supreme Court. And so I started working with the inmate lawyers for cases where the jury verdict was non-unanimous. Then I would get with Ben and appeal to the United States Supreme Court. We constantly was denied. Every time we got denied, we brought another case. Ben would say, Calvin, if you're not tired, I'm not tired. And my response is, I'm never going to get tired because no law should be on the book to preserve white supremacy. After 23 tries, the court finally said, I think we should look at this case.
Hamilton himself said the right to a unanimous jury. It's so self-evident we don't need to include it.
The rule in question here is rooted in racism, in a desire to diminish the voices of Black jurors.
The words jury trial themselves mean unanimous verdict.
The United States Supreme Court ruled in our favor. So from this day on, no more convictions like that. The question becomes, what happened to those convictions before that? Should those people remain in prison based upon this law? There's hundreds of people that's still in prison. And then there are people that's not in prison that still have to say that they have a conviction. The state of Oregon could resolve that on their own. Our Attorney General, she has the power to do the right thing, to say everybody that was convicted based upon a racist law, whether they're in prison or out of prison, we dismissing those convictions. It's a sad thing that a person with all that power could say, I'm going to let those people stay in prison. When I was on the inside, I just wanted to be free. To me, what freedom is, freedom to take a position, a right position, to undo things that I see that just wrong. To me, that is freedom, and I hold on to that. And that's why I'm 57 years old, and it's my first semester at Lewis and Clark Law School. And I just know that once I become a lawyer, that would add to my freedom to be able to stand up and do the right thing for people.
Boom. You know, the other day I saw the story of the oldest man ever incarcerated as a teenager or something was just released from jail. Man, one time on some bullshit, I did 28 days in county jail. Bro, I'm still, right? Still 28 days. That was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I did 28 days in jail. County jail. And I still smell things, hear things, feel certain breezes that go, that's jail. That's jail. I could not imagine being in prison for a length of time. But more than that, I couldn't imagine being in prison for something that I didn't do for a long time, because nobody's going to believe you. Everybody says I didn't do it. Everybody screams and looks right you in the eye and cries and says it wasn't me. That's why you can't ever expect anybody to ever believe anybody, but we have a system set up to protect people from that happening. And if that system is broken, then that is an absolute failure of the foundations of the entire system set up to protect us. Sorry, if I don't talk at some points, they're not going to pay me. So,
I mean, you're completely right. I mean, like I said before, it's supposed to be hard to take away somebody's rights, right? Because when you put somebody in jail, you're obviously taking away almost all of their constitutional rights, and it's supposed to be a very, very hard thing to do. Like, the thing is, people expect that if you did it, you're supposed to be guilty. The scales of justice are supposed to really be hard for prosecutors to be able to put people in jail. But throughout time, they've been able to sort of manipulate the system for it to become easier and easier for them to be able to hold mandatory minimums over your head and get you to plea. I mean, most guilty most people who are guilty in prison never went to trial. They just took a plea deal because they were afraid of getting 20 years, so they took the 10, you know? And, you know, especially, and we talk about this on the non-unanimous thing, what about all the people? There's nothing I can do to help all the people who took a plea deal because their lawyer told them in Oregon, the 2 jurors could still say you're not guilty and you could still be guilty. So there's a lot of people that I'll never even know if that weighed into their decision of whether they took their plea deal or not. So it's really hard, and you're right. There's the amount of years. One of my coworkers that I work with at Zealous, the work where we do this job, served I think 38 years, and it's just like amazing to me. And like now we're on Slack and you know, Google and all these things, and it's like he missed so much. And one of the people highlighted in that video is Terrence Hayes, who is Quantas Hayes' uncle, actually, who was convicted on a non-unanimous jury. And we interviewed him, and we were like, he said, I'll never be normal because I missed my entire 20s where people are supposed to become themselves. I spent that trying to fight for my survival in prison. He said when he went to prison, his daughters were little babies, and when he came out, his daughters were women, or young women. And how are you supposed to know how to, even if they visited you in jail, how do you grow into being a father if you were in jail for most of that time? And so as much as he's a productive member of society now, you lose so much. It's a really huge stain on Oregon that we had this law passed by the KKK, that it stood on the books for so long. Even in we waited for Justice Kavanaugh to tell us, nah, Oregon, what you're doing is racist. I mean, we waited till Louisiana's legislators fixed it on their own in their state. Like, we kept it on the books here in Oregon, and it's completely only rooted in racism, like explicitly. There's no argument about it. This is why it was there, was to silence minority voices on juries. It's gross. And I think that a lot of people thought we had washed our hands of it once the Supreme Court decision came down. And so that's just, you know, what I'm trying to do is say, look, there are still hundreds of people in jail.
A 12-person jury, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
yeah.
10 out of 12, that's like what? That's like 85%, 88%. So I don't know what that is, but do you know how that speaks to how racist Oregon really was? That even three, and it's not just, see, this is what people don't understand about racism. You don't have to actually like dislike a black person or have a opposition to people of other colors. You can participate in and turn a blind eye and go with the company line because it makes your life and your family's life easier. Nobody likes a white person that rocks the boat and ruins it for other white people. You know, when they say, I hate to remind you, but you're white. Like that right there is speaks to the institution, not individualized, internalized dislike for others, but benefiting from and engaging in. Dude, eating birthday cake that was bought with bank robbing money is complicit. Look, you guys, it's the bottom of the hour. Don't go nowhere, Greg. Don't go nowhere, please. This is really important conversation, but it is halftime, and I do have to give our tribute to Skill. We gotta drop the halftime show with Red Panda. This is Coffee and Bong Hits. I'm Jessie Sponberg. This is Greg McKelvey, the man. And we got Josh Larsen showing up right after this. So all three of us will be back in just a minute. And then remember, At 10:35, we play dope independent hip hop. And today we got a special surprise from my Vatos in Hood River. All right. You guys are ready for that shit, but you are ready for Red Panda because I gave you like 30 seconds to get right. There she is. This is Coffee and Bonghits. Every time. Josh. Yo, the homeboy came over to the house the other day and he doesn't watch the show. He only consumes the podcast, right? So he'll go in his shop and, he'll listen to like 5 hours of the podcast. So he shows up at my house the other day to drop off some merch. And he says, I've never seen Red Panda before, but man, that crowd sure does go freaking nuts for her. And then he said, this is what it sounds like in my head. Music starts, wait for it. Pink. And so I was like, you've never seen Red Panda before. And he said, he hadn't, right? But he'd seen the little girl that trains on the board, but he'd never seen actual Red Panda. So I'm like, well, let me bring it up for you. There's computers everywhere. So I pull it up and he stops and he looks at me and he goes, how come you guys don't draw attention to the fact that her unicycle is so tall? He goes, this whole time I thought she was just on a regular sized unicycle. That's a humongous, it's like an 8-foot unicycle. Why didn't you guys ever mention that? So shout out to Nick from Binger Glass Designs, and thank you for the fine glassware that we'll be giving away to our loyal listeners. Speaking of which, loyal listeners, go send me some money so I can start farming out these people. I thought I was about to get my unemployment. I really did. I called him yesterday. Second ring, got through. Lady was like, what up, player? I was like, what up? And then she goes, actually, I'm not the lady you need to talk to. I really thought I had it. I was like, I'm going to buy 100 pairs of fake Crocs because that's the investment I was going to buy 100 pairs of real Crocs until real Crocs dissed me. So now, we fucks with fake Crocs because fake Crocs. Hey, kids, remember this. If you're scared of falling in love with real Crocs, you're scared you'll start wearing them with socks or wearing them with jeans or wearing them to church or something, get fake Crocs because they'll break. And then you don't even have to worry about it. Okay, also, I got to remind you guys that the 1034 hour is brought to you by mealexchange.com, mealexchange.com with that X in the middle, using the power of restaurants and the existing infrastructure to provide hot meals to people in the community. All right, so you know what that means. It's 10:35 and we play dope, independent, local hip hop. And then at the end of the month, I throw it all together into a music video show called 10:35 a.m. because I literally ran out of shit to brand. And now I'm just looking at random times on the clock and saying, can I make 10:35 more famous than half the rappers in Portland? I think I can. But with that comes love that we got to give to people. So look, this is my dude, Maldito Villa. He actually is the guy that created the Urban Survivor Man logo and the branding, all that. Okay, let me get out the way. It's 10:35. This is Coffee and Bonghits. This is Six Side, Maldito Villa, La Puerta Falonia, Hood River, the whole Ruiz family.
And we as people are the return of Jessie.
L-T-I, the one and only Cole Brown. L-T-I-T. Cole Brown. I swear the Mexicans in town, fucking up the game like I came in with a pound. Been pushed down, now we giving up the score. It's a Cole Brown when a Mexican is born. The Aztecs were set to come from the north, so we're not immigrants, and we've been here before. Now we claim the south of the U.S. border. Shouts out to paisanos selling oranges and corners. All my New Yorkers, but what about Texas? Out in California, hell yeah, they got Mexicans. Out in Oregon, Washington, and Chicago. Also Arizona got a gang of Mexicanos. Nevada, Colorado, and everywhere around. Espinas and opales, what I use to make a crown. Cole Brown when the Mexican breeds war, cause they don't wanna see it like Zapata on a horse. Shouts out to paisanos selling oranges and corners. It's a Cole Brown when they see you doing good. There's a Cole Brown, no respect in the hood. We always get pushed to be the enemy. It's a Cole Brown when they see us rolling deep. And it's a Cole Brown when we don't hear all the bullshit that they're pumping in our ears. A Mexican was here, a Mexican was down. Gotta raise your kid or let the system raise your child. Mexican and proud, I love my Mexicans. I love it how it looks with black assholes on my skin. My mother's brown face and my pops was much darker. It's a brown coat when a Mexican's a scholar. It's a brown coat when a Mexican's a scholar. Scientist or doctor, maybe your professor. If you're Mexican, they consider this a letter. And being Mexican brought a lot of trouble. So I'm proud to say I'm Mexican like my uncle. Cole Brown, I swear the Mexicans in town. It's a Cole Brown when I political rap. People looking at me like it's Cesar Chavez back. I'ma take it back when we use tools. Cole Brown, with Pancho Villa starting schools. Cole Brown, homie, we are the outcome. Just wait till the Dell drops his album. M-A-L-D-I-T-O. Like Sonny Guns, I got love for my people. All my Mexicanos who really feel lost. It's a Cole Brown when we grow up with no pops. It's a sad sight when I see a single mother. It reminds me of home, that's my sister and my mother. It reminds me of home, that's my sister and my mother. Reminds me how we suffered, my homeboy did too. We used to get high like fucking what could we do? These are just the times of a couple brown fools. It's a Cole Brown coming towards you. Coming towards you. Yeah. To all my raza out there, stand strong like a pyramid.
Yo, that's whack that YouTube put that little thing up there so that I couldn't, right? I look, in a perfect world, I would have an administrative assistant. I'll be like, if you ever send me a video with that little shit in the corner of YouTube, and then they'd be like, okay, boss. And then we get shit done around here. But until then, we just pushing the YouTube videos. Yo, so if you want to hire me an assistant, I got an account set up just to pay an assistant. We've raised $25 so far. It's buymeacoffee.com/Jessie Sponberg. And every $5 you give me gets me 15 minutes of competent help. Not that I'm necessarily incompetent. I just put difficult tasks on low priority, right? Since on any day I got 50 things to do, shit just keeps falling out of the monkey sphere of stuff that I can personally compartmentalize. So it'd be really nice just to have this ongoing list that I'm just farming out, because we're about to be billionaires, yo. We're about to be billionaires, and man, y'all don't even know. Branding, proprietary rights, licensing, merch, coins. We're trying to really do it big, man. I can't understand all these people that have all this money and don't do shit with them. We're going to get rich and we're going to start micro grant programs. If you got a good idea, we will give you money. We'll give you T-shirts. We'll give you training to run with your good idea. All these people just out here with good ideas getting shit on by the gatekeepers. Being like, that isn't putting any money in my pocket. Why don't you just help me? Like, screw that, man. Cash ruins everything around me. This is Coffee and Bong Hits. I am Jessie Sponberg. I think I forgot to mention earlier that if you're looking for edgy merch, that this is on Presidents. You can't go wrong with standupandfightback.bigcartel.com. Standupandfightback.bigcartel.com. You can get F Donald Trump, F Joe Biden, F Abraham Lincoln. Those are, I don't even know, like 10 presidents. So I'm not going to start being the guy that names all 50 capitals to try to get laid. Don't forget this, Shane McLemore Toys. These are not for kids, custom action figures for adults. Shane McLemore Toys. You can find him on Instagram and Etsy and eBay because he's already been banned from the book. And also, don't forget this. You don't need to have a mullet on your head if you have a mullet in your heart, brother. Sick mullet, customized, polarized, fashion eyewear. Big in Florida, Alabama, the whole Gulf Coast right there. Also, don't forget Tiff B. She's pushing those graphics. So if your graphics are terrible, if your logo, if you made your own logo, let's just say that if you made your own logo, stop Hammer Time. You have to go to somebody else, ask them to make your logo for you. You have to. Also, don't forget, Saturday, Dirty Digital, bringing the brand new show to survivorman.com. It's Unblocked, exploring the mysteries of the blockchain. Him, Rush One, and Al with no fancy name. Like Al needs to get a name to give himself some value if this becomes a movie, because people just name Al. They usually don't last. There's no extra toys for people named Al. You need a cool name. Shit. I know I'm gonna forget somebody. Oh man. Don't forget about the 5xl.tv. No, the 5xl.com TV live. Whatever. We got 10 channels now. We have 10 channels in your face. That's all I'm trying to say. Shit. Man. Oh, don't forget me and Gavin. We got a new show coming up tomorrow night. It's called Campfires with Vampires. Y'all ain't ready for that shit. Gavin is like one of the dopest dudes I know. And nobody gets to see that side of him because they always make him talk about sports. So I'm going to get Gavin away from the sports, get him out into a virtual woodland setting, and we're going to chop it up. Okay, that's all that shit, man. So much to talk about. Oh, shit, Corey Cashburn. We finally got your ass over on YouTube. What? I think knowing all the state capitals used to get people laid, like, right? Like when there was 49 of them and then they got a 50th state, which they shouldn't have because they colonized a whole nother country. Never forget the King's Palace, the Royal Palace in Hawaii had electricity before the White House. So Hawaii doesn't work for the United States. They are under occupation. Okay, let me clarify that. Okay, let's get back to what we were into. I'm going to slide over here. Let's put Greg over here, Josh right there. So, Greg, if I was to tell you, okay, look, this is what I have to do because other people have these same questions, and I'm going to get mad if I don't ask. Even though I might know the answer to them, or I might have an idea, or I might not even agree with the question, I want to frame it just so you know. I'm not just being a devil's advocate to be a dick. I'm being a devil's advocate because I literally have a show that talks about stuff. So if I said it was too inefficient, like if we start clogging up the courts with hundreds of old cases that require decades of research, reopening cases, if I said that that was too inefficient and then threw in a giant comma and asked you if there was an efficient way to do it or if there was a compromise, like,
yeah,
go ahead, because my next question is freaking hardcore. So answer these ones.
So the reality of it is we're talking less than 300 people that are still in prison, which should be the priority. And that is going to be split amongst many counties. Around 80 of them are in Multnomah County. And so I don't know if you've ever had to go to court for something, or looked up or tried to see your friend wasn't answering your text, so you go look at the jail roster to make sure that they're not locked up or something. We're dealing with a lot of cases all the time. 80 is not this huge number in Multnomah County, right? And again, a lot of them are going to end up pleading out, and a lot of them won't be retried because they don't have the evidence to convict somebody on without a Jim Crow jury. So we're not talking about 80 actual cases happening in Multnomah County. If the answer to the question is there a more efficient way to do it, would be
that's
to
not
just
even that much, really.
No, it's not that much. It's not that
Because
much.
they stretch out. There's probably there's probably thousands of people right now in the system that are currently relitigating, right? They got attorneys, they're sitting in the law libraries, they got their books, they got the stacks of notes written with the little tiny pencils. Oh.
And I mean, even for a minor felony or something like a DUI or something like that, like sometimes you don't get sentenced or something for a year, 2 years later. I mean, like these things take a long time. So 80 cases is not the biggest deal in the world. The way to make it more efficient possibly would be to just say anybody convicted on non-unanimous jury, it's just vacated. Nobody has to apply. Your conviction is gone. That is going to be a hard sell to the public because, like honestly, some amount of these people are probably guilty, right? Of course. And then the other thing is we don't want that to happen because theoretically you could be in some bad county in Oregon and maybe the DA got you for 10 years, but has been really pissed about it for 5 years because thought that he could have got you for 20. If we vacate your conviction, there is no double jeopardy. You could be recharged again. It's like it never happened. So the DA could be really pissed off and go get you for that 20, and you would get the time served, but you could end up with longer terms. And then let's also say some of the people that are just out, who have already served their time, they don't want to redo anything at all. Like they're past this. I don't want to apply for anything. I don't want to talk to any more lawyers. I already have a job. Like, I don't feel like it's impacting my life too much. Just leave me alone. So even the number of people that are out, but whose conviction were non-unanimous, a lot of them aren't going to be applying for relief either. So, it's not that many cases. And the thing is, we would all agree that there's a line somewhere, right? Let's say it's a lynch mob. Everybody would agree. Anybody that's convicted or a witch trial, right? Anybody would agree. Anybody that's convicted of that stuff, even if you were a witch, we should probably throw that away, right? Like everybody has a line somewhere. And if your line isn't this law that was written by the KKK and is explicitly racist, then where is your line? The next worst thing would literally be a lynch mob. So this is about as racist of a conviction as it can be. And I would just say if a DA doesn't have the evidence to convict somebody without a Jim Crow jury, then that person should not be convicted.
I'm glad that you brought this point full circle, because I felt like if I jumped back to it, which is the peer pressure of being white in a white racist society, means that when you're in these jury deliberation rooms, you might want to be an advocate for social justice, but the risk that you are taking, even standing up to some raucous, boisterous, loud ass white dude, fat, bad breath, cigarette smoking in the jury room, telling people how it's going to be. Don't think that bullying doesn't go on, like even on a subtle level. So I keep thinking, like, how could 10 out of 12 people be racist? Do they keep scoring those? Do they tell you how many jury members felt one way? Forgive me for not knowing. I should be smarter.
No, this is actually one of the big problems in why, like, we have better numbers on how many people were convicted than the Attorney General does. So when she's saying it would just flood the court, she doesn't know how many cases she's talking about, because we've had to go do all this groundwork to figure it out. So people did not start pulling the jury until these things started going through the Supreme Court. So there are lots of people in jail right now convicted on non-unanimous juries who we will never know. We'll never know that
What
they were
year-
convicted of a non-unanimous jury.
What year are we talking about when you say
We're talking about, I think, it became common practice. I don't want to mess this up, but I think it became common practice around 2010 to be polling your jury. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people
I was like,
definitely
you say 60s,
before,
70s, 80s.
no, definitely before the 2000s. If you were convicted, we would just be like, okay, we were convicted. I mean, I think that every defense attorney should poll the jury, should have been polling the jury, and make them, make each juror stand up and say, my name, Greg McKelvey, I believe this person is guilty. Like, I think we should do that, even if it's unanimous juries, because I think everybody should, if you feel strong enough to put somebody behind bars, you got to say it with your chest. But the thing is, what we're also thinking, we think about this obviously from the perspective of the people that are in jail, but let's say, being on a jury is also, I struggle to say a right, but is a part of being a productive member of civil society. And so let's say, Jessie, that you get called for jury duty and you get put on a jury, and you are sitting there and it's 12 white people, right? And maybe 7 men and 5 women or something like that. Yeah. And everybody is pretty down to convict this person. And you are sitting here like, yo, the cop could have lied. Like, you're the woke person on the jury, right? And you're like, what the hell? Like, what is going on here? Your voice doesn't matter anymore. So, like, if we have a non-unanimous jury, let's say both of y'all are on the jury, right? And you both are sitting next to each other, like, yo, what the hell? No, this cop could have easily lied. Like, this could happen, and we know that most people in society believe the police all the time. It doesn't matter. You guys could be the wokest people in the world. It won't matter. Your voice wouldn't have counted. And so it's not just taking away the rights of the people who are the focus, of course, because they end up going to jail, or prison, but it's also taking away your right as a juror to have a voice in this matter. I mean, it is not that hard. What is the movie, like 12 Angry Men and stuff like that? Like, some, those movies where like they really all sit in the room, 12 people, and like they'll flip and they're all arguing and this and that. And like, to get to 12, like, and there's always that 1 or 2 last holdout that is like, nah, I don't think so, this and that. And then they finally get that person. Like, it's just, that's how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to have to get everybody. And if you can't get everybody beyond a reasonable doubt, like, it is supposed to be incredibly hard. We are supposed to have people who are tried for crimes, did the crime, and get off. Our system is supposed to be built like that. And honestly, a lot of white people and rich people do get off, of course, right? Like, or are pardoned by Trump. But like, for you to be put into prison is supposed to be such a high standard. Like, I'm not saying go commit crimes and it should be easy to commit crimes, but I'm saying that it should be really hard, and the state should have to do a lot of work to take away all of your freedom and put you behind bars. And, having the 10-2 rule is kind of cheating.
Okay, so then more of that, trying to be balanced with my line of questioning. So if somebody was to argue, I always try to take the perspective of what I'm trying to disagree with, right? So I can try to see what they're saying. Right. So what if the thinking was that one obstinate person who refuses to be convinced no matter what would be gumming up the wheels of justice to the point that a societal movement where it became trendy not to convict anybody, right, just means that everybody from the obstinate movement could stop the wheels of justice from convicting anybody. Okay, so then they come up with, okay, well, how about if you find one co-signer? Right? They're like, all right, they just got one co-signer. And then still, boom, that's on the other side of that still. Right? Like, 11 seems tiny bit fair.
So this is the thing. I mean, well, for one, all 48 states for the history of the all 48 other states have been doing unanimous. So like people are still able to get convicted, but that does happen. We all know the devil's advocates in our lives. Like there's somebody who even on like conspiracy theorists, like, all this stuff. Like we know somebody who even on the most, like we have a picture of you holding the gun would be like, I don't know, man. It could have been some, like that happens. And you're right. There are people like that. And the thing is that happens and it results in a mistrial. And then the prosecution is really upset and then they retry it. You can retry it. You're not convicted. So you're not innocent if it's a hung jury. So if the jury can just not decide either way, you don't get off. It's just a mistrial. Usually the most mistrials that prosecution would be willing to go through is like 2 or 3, but that does happen. I mean that, and then they'll just drop the case. But it happens where there's they get a devil's advocate on the jury, but jury selection is a thing, where they're striking juries. Juries are supposed to be pretty reasonable people. If you are a natural devil's advocate, you've probably been struck by one of the sides on the attorneys anyway. So, but I would say, 48 states and Louisiana, even before us, were able to convict a lot of people with just unanimous juries. So I don't think it would stop the wheels of justice for it to be unanimous. And we've been unanimous now in Oregon for since that Supreme Court decision happened last April, and our conviction rates are not tremendously different. More people are just taking plea deals, etc.
Man, we only got a couple minutes left. Josh, man,
dude, this has been enlightening for me. I didn't know our jury system worked the same way we pick toothpaste, where only 4 out of 5 dentists have to recommend it. I learned from Jury Duty, the Pauly Shore ripoff of 12 Angry Men, where Pauly just this guy's innocent, and then he ends up saving a life. I thought that was how it worked. My mind has been blown today. I'm not gonna lie.
That's how it's supposed to work, and that's what people thought. The thing is, murder in the first degree is a charge that you have to be unanimous. So we're not talking like Jeremy Christian murderers. Those things had to be unanimous. We're talking most of these being like robbery or aggravated, whatever, like that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people didn't know that Oregon system was so messed up like this. And then once the Supreme Court fixed it, people thought, it's all done, while those people are still sitting in jail. Like, yo, I was convicted with that thing that even Justice Kavanaugh is saying is unconstitutional, but I still have to sit in jail. What the hell?
Greg, Corey Casburn, loyal listener, a diehard Facebook listener though, who was forced to make the migration today since we got zucked. That's cool, man. Man, Facebook is such a haunted house. It's like, get out. And then when I try to get friends to move, they kill them. like I can't. I'm trying to make an exodus, and they're failing.
What did you do to get the ban?
Bro, you want to know what I did to get a ban? Check this out. I told the dude, no, ban me for cracker. They already banned me for crackers so many times that like all of 2017, I had to get a whole nother profile. And I didn't even call people crackers. It was just the word cracker. But no, it's
the
crazy.
Cracker.
It's even crazier. I said to a dude, I said, yo, G, the reason that you're here, I just went and looked at your Facebook, and the reason that you're here saying these inflammatory racist statements is because nobody in your life likes your Facebook posts. Not even your ugly mom, not any of your friends. And apparently calling a dude's mom ugly was like you can't call somebody's mom ugly? Bro, obviously your mom's ugly. That's how you got this far in life, right? All angry and shit because your mom was unattractive.
The amount of bullying that is allowed to stay on Facebook, and you can't be mean to a racist. Come on, man.
You know what's funny is I don't even know if his mom is ugly. I'm just guessing it because that dude probably had a rough childhood. But so I want to ask you this question, Greg, because we're really not constrained by time. I know you have a meeting, but I just want to ask you real quick. It was about Illinois getting rid of cash bail. Holy shit, that's been a lot of questions.
I do have a meeting.
Yeah.
No, you're good. I can answer one question.
Did you see Illinois just did away with cash bail? Local government.
Everyone should do away with cash bail. It's a messed up system, and actually, I think the Supreme Court will hear something on this as well. But yeah, I mean, everyone should get rid of cash bail. It's just completely messed up. Money should never be the reason, especially during a pandemic. People are dying in jail disproportionately. They become super spreader events and stuff. And so you not having enough money can actually end up resulting in a death sentence. And that's part of what we've done in some of our national work too. There's lots of people who have died in jail awaiting trial of COVID. And they would not. So being poor ended up being a death sentence.
Okay, last thing. I promise I'll let you go.
Okay.
How can we help?
Yeah, stillinprison.org. Please just go share the video. Go to stillinprison.org. Everything is there. Sign up for updates. And we're gonna get this campaign going. If you have an organization that wants to sign on to like be a part of this coalition, hit us up on stillinprison.org. Cool. All right, I gotta run.
Yeah. Peace. All right. What up, Jack?
What's up, man? That was so enlightening. Holy cow. That's insane. I don't know. I guess that's part of my privilege showing, but there were certain things I never knew. Blown away. I can't believe we can change somebody's life off a 10 to 2.
You ever gone to jail?
I have not. No. I got family that's dealt with it, but I haven't. I grew up, though, my dad was a cop, and so I grew up as the cop's kid who, there were certain things that my last name maybe helped avoid things. I mean, I never really got in any real trouble, but at the same time, like, I don't know, I was just raised to say yes, sir, no, sir, be polite, keep your mouth shut, and that's what I did.
Did it make your dad mad when you became a park ranger? He was like, "You're supposed to become a cop," and it said you became a park ranger. You're no son of mine. Threw you out the house for chasing your dreams and your
Are you kidding me? I also told him I wanted to be a comedian. So, he was way more stoked on the park ranger thing. At least I was going down the path at that time.
Wait till he finds out your friends are Greg. Oh, man. Yeah, I love Greg so much, man. That dude he's really sincere. A lot of people think because he's so polished and he's so good at what he does that he can't be sincere, but he really, really is sincere. And he has a beautiful family, and I hold them all in great high regard. His whole family, like I'm not just talking about his wife, Kat, or his wonderful babies, his mom, his dad.
That's something you can see when he talks too. You can see it in his eyes. You can hear it in his voice. Like he cares. He's doing this because he's one of the good people doing it for the right reasons because he cares about people.
But someday I'm really going to benefit from being his friend. Let me just call Greg. Greg will be like, "Damn it, I wish Jessie quit calling me. Sorry, hold on, Obama. I got to take this call." Okay, what else you got going on today, man?
Not much today. I have been enjoying Ted Cruz being mad at his neighbors. That has been the highlight of my week. I'm not going to lie. The fact that his neighbors dimed him out on the whatever the wife's text messages about Cancun. That's fantastic to me. That's the most amazing thing. That's how everyone knew that no, it wasn't really his kid because his neighbors just leaked the text that they threw out saying, "Hey, y'all, we're getting out of town. Want to come with us?" I love it. I love that Ted Cruz now not only has to deal with finding a new state, he's got to find a new homeowners association. That's amazing. This guy can't trust anybody now. And I don't know why they thought they could either way, but still, I love that his wife was sitting on the beach drinking a cocktail, just eyeballing these people next to him, going, "Which one of you mothers did this to me?"
Didn't Donald Trump say some terrible stuff about Ted Cruz's wife?
Oh yeah, yep, that was a big thing. But Cruz still followed him because
right, that's the same lady we're talking about, right?
Yep. There's something about your neighbors diming people out. Like it's hilarious to me. I'm not a fan of a rat. I never will be. But I still find it funny when people are so oblivious to the fact that people would rat them out. You know, TMZ offers up more money for some of these things, and people love the little bit of limelight that they can get. And for some reason, Ted Cruz thinks his neighbors are better than that. And they absolutely are not. Like, of course they're not. I'm glad they did it. I love it. This is so much fun. I love seeing Ted Cruz in the news for other things than playing basketball with Jimmy Kimmel.
I forgot about that too. He's a crazy character. I can't believe that we're not any more civilized than we were in like the 1700s or the 1800s, where we just got these modern day versions of the dudes with the powdered wigs and the knickers with the pulled up white socks and the belt buckles and just kissing ass, right? Just for the Duke or whatever, just so they can get some fine wine because they're addicted to pain pills and alcohol. But they're disgusting failures of humanity, right? They just like fail at every turn. They always just stumble and drop to the lowest common denominator, and will just remind us that they literally do not have a basement. Like, they walk down these stairs and you're like, damn, this is where you live? And they're like, no. Morally, there's another staircase. And they go down to that one. And that's what the president's presidency, the former presidents, I guess, what a relief to be able to say that. The former president, Donald Trump, he really stretched those people out as far as they could through like psychological 12-step program into the depths of hell. Like, every month it was like, okay, what will you guys be forced to co-sign for this month? Like, yo, once you start co-signing for grabbing people by the pussy, it's a slippery slope to insurrection at the Capitol. Let's kill Nancy Pelosi. How did we get here? Hold on. And then it's like, well, let's look back. And that starts this whole movie of how people just started going, we're just patriots. We just really like hats. And then they're like, we just really like trucks. Yeah, we really like flags. And then it was like, we really like trucks and hats and flags. We really like paintball guns. And then it was just this accelerating, growing industrial complex that just feeds on itself, right? And then it develops characters and personalities and a whole subculture of deplorable, barely human creatures that just walk the earth disguised as the rest of us, but with absolutely zero moral compass. Like, holy shit. Kicking cats.
These guys should, when they get into politics, they should have to like film or write themselves a letter. Like, these are my morals and these are the things I want to strive to do. And every year when there comes up for a re-election, we should be allowed to see that note that they wrote to themselves, to see if they're still on track. Now, with somebody like Trump, that wouldn't fix anything or help out at all. But, you know, with somebody like Cruz, back in the day, he used to do stuff. He used to try to help his people. If he could look back and see what he was trying to do when he was 24 or 25 before he got corrupted into all this stuff, maybe it would take a minute for him to be like, oh, dang, I am off track. Or at least not let us see it so we can see how far away this jackass has drifted and realize it. Wow.
Bro, you just blew my mind thinking that Ted Cruz could ever be 24. Ted Cruz left behind his dog, whose name is Snowflake.
But don't worry, he was in a nice warm house, though the wife's text messages says it's actually an ice box. So, but don't worry, the dog's taken care of.
I'm gonna look up Ted Cruz's Wikipedia real quick. I think it has value right now, just because I can't go one more second without knowing what his first job in politics was. Like, well, like where did he get his foot in the door? Was he a community organizer? I doubt it, but maybe. I bet he was a slime ball who probably like sold like life insurance or something. And then, okay. Hey, you guys might know that we switched browsers today, but then I had to switch back. Heidi Cruz is pretty pissed. Her text about family's controversial Cancun trip were leaked. Senator Cruz said Tuesday his wife, Heidi Cruz, who the president said was ugly. That's what I said about that dude's mom, and I got kicked off Facebook for it. That's some cold shit. Like, I don't know if his mom's ugly. I've never seen that old wretched woman. I'm just guessing. I've just seen enough people who comment like that and then track down what their mom looked like and then be like, yeah, I guessed. Good guess, Jess. How did you possibly know that man came from unattractive loins?
I just can't believe Facebook's taking away your mom jokes. How are we going to have comedians in the future if kids don't learn the good your mom joke over the internet? That's terrible.
Like, it wasn't even good your mom joke. It was just ugly. The woman is unattractive. She's an ugly woman. I know that's funny because I don't really judge people by their looks, right? But it's like small dick syndrome or whatever. Like, I don't care how big your dick is, but you're acting weird about it, right? Like, I don't care what your mom looks like. You're the one that shows up in public with hang-ups about it. It's not me. If your shit was normalized, you wouldn't be over here acting out, trying to get attention or something, finding the love that you never got in your house. All right, so look, Rafael Edward Cruz. I forgot the dude's name was Rafael Edward Cruz, first of all. I forgot because I didn't care, right? But I have been told that was the dude's name. Rafael Edward Cruz. Okay, let me see. Born in 1970. He's not even 50 years old yet, right? Let's see, December. No, he's coming up on his 50th birthday. What do you think? What do you think Ted Cruz is going for his 50th?
Cancun. Not Cancun. His neighbors ain't going, that's for sure.
Yo, Corey, they hit me with the how big of a Facebook smack. They got me with a 7-day. I can't post. I can still accept tags. So if you guys all want to like share the show from YouTube and tag me, I can still accept tags or whatever. And it doesn't matter. I'm leaving that platform almost entirely in 1 week. So, and it's February, so it's actually less than a week. It'll be March before they let me back in. And then I'm only coming back to buy paid ads. You can find me on the website. That's it. I'll just be like a placeholder. Boom. Like, just go into my group and share articles from my website. And then if you want to comment, I got a whole safe place called the website. We can have long ass chats. Because Facebook is dead. So move on. Okay. Let's see. Did I mention Binger Glass? Binger Glass, Binger, Binger Glass Designs on Instagram. Hooked us up with the bomb.
I'm liking that. I'm liking that shirt too, man. That's a heck of a sweater right there.
Man, I'm trying out some merch, see what works. I like the orange, but it makes me feel like I need to be productive or stand around. Like,
That would be the thing. If you were waiting for the bus, people would have a hard time to know, is there a bump coming up or is this guy just waiting? I don't.
Yeah, is this guy a flagger or is he waiting for the bus? Man, in Hawaii, everybody just, oh, my bad. In Hawaii, everybody does so many construction jobs and stuff like that everybody just makes all their clothes in those colors. So that way, no matter what color shirt you wear for work, you could just dip out. Like, hey, bro, I happen to be wearing the fluorescent green today. Or like, look at me, I got the yellow on. It doesn't matter. It could be a hot dog stand. They just print everything in OSHA approved. Sarah, I have no idea what your message means. But now would be a good time for me to tell you the story I told Sarah yesterday, if she reminded me, then I would tell the greatest story in the history of stories. My grandma died. The end. No, okay. Look, hold on, check this out. So, my grandma died and we got her ashes back. And her ashes came back in this urn. And my grandma told us long before, holy shit, Sarah, I need those. Bless your dad. Okay, this story is just for your dad. So he's going to love this one. Everybody's going to love this one. So my grandma dies. We get her urn. My cousin, me, and my brother, we instantly knew where we had to take my grandma, which was to the Malala River, where she'd always taken us camping. And she was like, okay, when I die, make sure you guys put me in the Malala River. Now, I wanted to just throw the old woman's body in the river and let the crawdads eat her, right? And I think she would have preferred that too. Just put a couple big rocks on her and let her become part of the ecosystem and let some swimmers find a leg or something later. That'd be great. But no, everybody's like, we got to do it the right way. Drinking water and such. Okay, so we come up with a date. We come up with a plan. It's February. We're going to drive out to Malala, out to the cold-ass snow melt river, and we're going to pour my grandma's ashes in. Now, when I was a kid, my grandma would always take us out to Malala to go camping, and my brother and my cousin and me, we would always manage to make it across the river at one point in the day, but then at night, it would start getting the water level raised, and my grandma would always yell at us about going in. You better get in the water, or we're just going home. If you're not going swimming, we're going home. So I'll be like, all right. So that was a thing, right? So we drive all the way out to the mountains with my grandma's ashes in the urn. It's my brother and my cousin and me. And then my brother brought his girlfriend. He always has to do that. Some lady whose name I don't even remember. Like, why do you always have to bring a sidekick to these super intimate things? And then I just got some lady in the background, like these priceless, timeless family photos with some lady that my brother met at a bar or something in the background. Like, hey, okay, whatever. So we go out to the woods and we're standing on the edge of the ocean, or the edge of the river. And we pour my grandma's ashes out there. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen a person who's been cremated. First of all, don't call it a comeback, because they are not. They're definitely burned really good, but there's still chunks of body and bone, and like there's, you can't burn it down to like a cigarette ash, right? You just kind of burn it to a fireplace ash level, right? So there's still chunks. So we dump it out in the river. And then I give my best Hoosiers speech, and I say to my cousin and my brother, I'm like, you guys know what grandma would have wanted right now. And they're broken, right? We loved our grandma dearly. Like, they're weeping for our dear grandma. And I'm like, you guys know what grandma would want from you? She wants you to jump in that river right now. And they're like, no way. And I'm like, dude, if you love your grandma, we are jumping in that river. So I take off my stuff, right? And I'm the oldest one, so they follow cue. And they take off their shirts, and they're in their boxers, and I'm standing in my boxers right on the edge of this river, right? And I'm like, y'all ready to do this for grandma? And it's cold as shit, right? I mean, it's cold. It's like probably 40 degrees. Sun's out, breezy. It's freezing. I'm like, you guys ready? 1, 2, 3. And those two idiots jumped in the goddamn river. Not me. I'm not dumb. Grandma didn't raise no idiot, except those two. And they come up, blue lips, shivering, with pieces of my grandma all in their hair, on their shoulder, got a little grandma under their eyeballs. Those freaking idiots, man. My grandma was just sitting up there like, oh, God, don't do it, you morons. But yeah, it just shows, man. So
Okay, let's go back to Hoosier speech.
I can give a speech, man. I can give a speech. Believe that.
Well, shoot, man, I gotta go do my kids' lunch. But it's been great having
Man,
me
I
on,
gotta
man.
get out of here too. Okay, look, guys, we're gonna be. Oh my gosh, what if my karma is that those jars aren't really pot? What if those jars are full of my grandma? That would be the worst karma ever. All right, Josh. Man, I hope I talked to you before, but if not, I will see you next Tuesday, G.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Okay, heck yeah. Okay, so damn, we went for the 90-minute shot, 80-minute shot. Oh man, it feels nice not even being on Facebook. Man, I really miss my grandma. She was the best person I know. Okay, hey, check this out. Tomorrow night, Gavin and I on the website, or at least on the YouTube. Campfires with Vampires will be a live show. So I encourage you guys to tune in and help us shape it to look like something you might want to mess with. All right. Okay, then this is one thing I guarantee, though. It's not going to be like a lot of these shows. Strange Game is fun because we talk about different subject matter, but then so many different homies pile in that sometimes the actual message is lost, which is great. But I guarantee Gavin's not going to go off subject tomorrow. Not on accident, at least. That guy doesn't do that. Okay, man, I'm going to pull the eject button. I got my parachute packed. Don't forget about everybody we mess with. And the sanctuaries, everybody. If anybody wants to just hang out and upload clips and videos for me all day, that would be dope too. Because I'm trying to build sets. Or if anybody just wants to come and type in all my IMDb information, that would not suck. That would not suck. Okay. Hey, make sure you guys go check out What the F is Ladylike. I'm behind on a couple episodes, actually, because I'm trying to figure out. I can't tell you guys what I'm trying to figure out, or demons will start coming to my house. All the way to Cancun. Okay, guys, 5,000 G. Bless your families. We will see you back here tomorrow. Hopefully the website will be fixed. All right.